Alright, then what better example than a live example of defense? Of trinkling out the rounds and carrying them forward forever and ever. So basically, these are all defense rounds. That's one of my personal, what I resource trickled. But then I had to fill it with defense rounds because I ran out of actual things. But for the first rounds here, it was all its own troops, what I had in there. And it kind of, as you can see, it just slowly tricks them down until they, eventually to that. But how I did that was a combination of things. I would go up here, and you can kind of see the returning units, and I would go to send resources, click on whatever troop I wanted to send, whatever slowest troop I wanted to send, and then I would adjust. I would see this time and then this return time, and based on the return time, I would set that round. So if I click this, I can adjust it a little bit, but on longer attacks, you're a lot better off because you can adjust that little bar up to an hour. Meaning if you find, like, say, if I go out and I find the perfect castle, it can get me through an entire hour, and you can get that done in seconds. You can get that done in, well, not seconds, but maybe like a minute, just quick, back and forth, make sure you're doing it right, especially if it's your first time. But, you'll be able to adjust that timer and, get them right there where they need to be. And, of course, I wanted to show you an example of a castle that has not been trinkled, that has not been defended at all. Right here. So basically, it would lose half its troops, half them again, half them again, half them again, and then you would lose the castle when you got below that 101 mark. But see, with Trinkling, I am able to not lose half my troops, but continue fighting while losing the bare minimum of troops each time. And just taking out as many of his as possible. And then it's, hammering is for night mode. And then I think that's another one that popped up. But yes, that's all you have to essentially do. And, practice it first. Like, run drills, practice getting the times right. Because it is better to take a little bit of time to practice, timing the rounds where they will just carry on forever and ever and ever, than to lose a castle, or even, in this case, a city. And I'm going to end this with saying this: 55 times however many castles there are. So if you have 5, you have to times it by 555. Or 550 or 505, just something over 500. The base to hold a castle goes up by, well, let's use the 100 as a base, even though we all know it's 101. So it'd be 500, 2,500, 12,500 would be the bare minimum to hold around. But we know we have to have a couple over that, or we will lose the castle. That's a given thing. I don't know why they set their numbers like that, but yeah, that has been the basics of Trinkling. I wanted to show a live example, and this took me so long because I was gonna do this whole long video, but I was like, I'll just show them. And then of course these were self-trinkled, not resource trinkled. There's self-trinkling, resource trinkling, and then a mode that no one does, so it shall not be named. You should not be doing it. You will lose a castle. Basically, it's where you send the troops to another castle, and but it's very ineffective. It can be very hard to manage, and if you're defending multiple castles, it doesn't work at all. Sure, for 1, it works perfectly fine, but once you get into 3 and 4, you're going to start dropping them. But yeah, that's been resourcing. I will go into more detail, but I want to get on a better setup. I want to be able to show you a better setup, because if I tried to show you with this, you see me struggle. And, I know you guys like to see me struggle, but I would rather just do it in a better setup. So that is the resource Trinkling video for now. And I will mark it as an example, not a tutorial. But, that is just an example. And basically, if I go on, I think another battle round has gone through. No, it hasn't. I don't know why I thought that was 10 minutes. It's only been like 3. I just read that and I'm like, I think another one. God damn. Time's going quick. But yeah, and it'll just carry on forever. So that's an example. Now, of course, I will update this later and come up with better examples and do other test runs and do cities. Maybe even do realistic attacks on cities where I drop down city troops. But I'm going to continue, and I'm going to show the actual process. Now that's going to be a little bit longer of a video, because I'm going to have to show you step by step. But I just wanted to show an example because it's what I can get out. I got a lot going on with the weather and everything, and then I basically had to play in the snow today. That's what took up most of my day, playing in the snow. So I wanted to at least get an example down, and then we'll work into the working it in. But see, that's going to land. Oh, that one already landed. But that's going to land just before. And then, of course, I double defended. A couple of these I double defended. But see, that's going to land just after that battle goes on. So when this battle is complete and these troops get halved, that's going to land and then refill that bridge. So just so you understand.